Good day. The state television company of Western Armenia represents all the most important events of these days. Today's broadcast. On May 11, 1920, the US Senate approved a resolution on the recognition of the independence of the Republic of Armenia. In the historical province of Sur in Tigranakert, the historical houses were targeted by the treasure hunters. In the occupied territories of Artsakh, Azerbaijan destroyed and vandalized most of the monuments of the Great Patriotic War. Artak Beglaryan. Tigranashen is a historical Armenian village. Arman Tatoyan presented a map. New trends in medieval Armenian literature. In Isfahan, a process of inclusion of St. Amenaprkich Monastery in the UNESCO list was discussed. Urartian frescoes will be restored. On May 11, 1920, the US Senate approved Resolution 359 recognizing the independence of the Republic of Armenia from the territories of Western Armenia, where the genocide of Armenians took place. According to Congressional Resolution 106 of October 2000, based on Resolution 596, the United States declares that the Ottoman Empire planned and carried out the genocide against ethnic Armenians in 1915-1923, which killed 1.5 million Armenians, displaced another 500,000, and Armenians were expelled from their 2,500-year-old homeland. The report notes that in May 1915, the Allied powers of the First World War for the first time in history accused the government of this empire of a crime against humanity and stated that they would be personally responsible to all the members of Ottoman government for this crime. The report notes that after the First World War, the Turkish government itself brought changes against the main leaders involved in the organization and implementation of genocide of Armenians and the massacre and extermination of Armenians, but the sentences of the courts against these people, including the death penalty, were not carried out. On the occasion of 102nd commemoration of the recognition of the independence of the Republic of Armenia, President of Western Armenia Armen Abrahamian expresses gratitude and congratulates President Joe Biden on his administration on the part of United States, where thousands of descendants of victims of genocide live. Read the full material on our official website. The Sur Tigranakert province of Western Armenia is included in the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage List. In 2015, after armed clashes, it was declared, but this did not prevent the almost complete destruction of 6 districts of the province. As a result of the destruction, at least 3,569 buildings were destroyed. In their place, houses resembling a prison structure were built. The work, started under the name restoration in the still preserved buildings, has been going on for more than 6 years. During this process, the stones of these houses were stolen, reflecting the architectural identity of historical houses. Some of the stolen stones were put up for sale, and some were used in various structures. Registered structures have also been targeted by treasure hunters in recent months. Unknown people dressed as builders illegally searching for treasure inside some houses. It is no secret that Armenians have lived in historical Tigranakert since ancient times as an indigenous nation and have made a great contribution to the architecture of the city as well as to various spheres of culture. Unfortunately, today, apart from the leadership of Western Armenia, few people remember and voice this fact. Most of the monuments dedicated to the Great Patriotic War in the territories occupied by Azerbaijan have been vandalized or destroyed. About it on a telegram channel was written by Artsakh State Minister Artak Beglaryan. 24 Artsakh citizens become heroes of Soviet Union, and 2 of them, the legendary pilot, a native of Shushil, Nelson Stepanyan, and Marshal of the Soviet Union, Hovannes Bagramyan, were twice awarded this title. 7 residents of Artsakh become holders of Order of Glory of all 3 degrees. One of the first Soviet soldiers awarded the Order of Glory in 1943 was also a native of Artsakh, a native of the village of Nerkin Sazneg, Gevorg Israelian. However, in 2020, after the Azerbaijan aggression on September 27th and following the results of the trilateral statements of the heads of Armenia, Russia and Azerbaijan on November 9th, on the same year, 5,000 Armenian monuments dedicated to the Great Patriotic War remained in the occupied territories of Republic of Artsakh. The vast majority of these monuments were vandalized and destroyed. Artak Beglaryan wrote. There are a number of historical facts about Tigranashen. The village did not have the status of an enclave. It was a historical Armenian village, which originally formed part of not only of the First Republic of Armenia, but also Soviet Armenia. Ex-human rights defender of Armenia Arman Tatoyan writes about this. The village was called Karke. In the vicinity of Tigranashen, deep into Nakhichevan, there is another Armenian village, the Armenian historical village of Genud, which also formed part of Soviet Armenia. Over the years, the village was divided into two parts due to the settlement of the Turkic dynasty of Jafarlu and received the name of Jafarlu or Gunud. For example, on the map of 1926, the village is part of Armenia. We want to remind you that the real map is the map of Western Armenia adopted in 1920 and not the map of Soviet Union established in 1921. The historical facts are ignored. There are obviously unprofessional approaches of residents of border areas and their security, which for decades have deprived us of legal basis for protecting the rights and interests of Republic of Armenia and its citizens. Arman Tatoyan, former ambassador of Armenia, wrote. Noticeable changes have been taking place in Armenian literature since the middle of 12th century. In the 13th and 14th century, Konstantin Yerzenkati and Hovannes Tulkurens were initiated, and they in the future, thanks to the great merits of poets Nagash of Natan, Pakhtasardepir and Sayat Nova, Armenian love songs were finally formed. The spoken word of people Middle Armenian is becoming a literary language. Among the creators of this new trend, a special place is occupied by Mkhitar Gosht and Vartan Aygekti. At the beginning of the 13th century, the first collection of Armenian secular law was created in northern Armenia under the auspices of Zakarian House, the Datastanagirk bar Mkhitar Gosht, where the author discusses issues related to the theory and practical application of law. Back in the Middle Ages, Mkhitar Gosht's Datastanagirk was translated into Latin, Polish and Georgian and has been used for centuries both in Western Armenia and in Poland, Russia, Georgia and India. The Secretary General of UNESCO National Commission in Iran, the UNESCO representative of Isfahan, and other officials visited the monastery of St. Amenaprkich. They visited the Armenian Ethnographic Museum of New Julfa of the St. Amenaprkich Monastery, the Hovsep Arimatatsi Church, the Nersesh Library, and they met with the Diocese Council. The website norjuga.ir wrote about this. In Iran, the Secretary General of the National Commission for UNESCO provided information on the process of including of St. Amenaprkich Monastery in the UNESCO World Heritage List. The process of including the St. Amenaprkich Monastery in the UNESCO World Heritage List was discussed, and they expressed hope that it will become a reality as soon as possible. About 70% of the Urartian frescoes known to the world were discovered on the territory of the Erebuni fortress. Currently, they are kept in the Erebuni Museum, the Armenian History Museum, and the Pushkin Museum in Moscow. The Urartian frescoes found on the territory of Erebuni fortress in Yerevan are radically different from others. They require special care, so it is very difficult to work with them. In 2016, through the efforts of a number of researchers, a project was launched to restore and reconstruct the monumental frescoes of Erebuni. The first stage of restoration work was completed in the autumn of 2019, and the overall project will be completed in 2023. Currently, there are no specialists in restoration of Urartu frescoes in Armenia. The frescoes are in poor condition and may simply disappear in a few years if they are not restored, says Mikhail Badalyan, director of Erebuni Museum. Now musical part, Armenian spiritual music, Nayet Sirov, Lilit Tonoyan, David Melkonyan. The full version of this video is available on Western Armenia's YouTube channel. This was all for today. Goodbye.